Hey everybody, it's time to swing. We're still swinging, and I'm your host, Thomas. Look, I think let's listen and see what we think about what Poetik Flakko got going on.
Diddy may have just gotten a get out of jail free card due to this really huge mistake by the prosecutors and CNN. Cassie is the prosecutor's star witness. These trafficking charges that Diddy currently got is all centered around Cassie and the free calls that she claims she was coerced and forced to do. The prosecutors knew about Cassie accusations against Diddy for a long time, but they took a while to arrest Diddy. You see, Cassie is stating that Diddy trafficked her, that Diddy made her engage in sexual acts with male escorts for his own self-gratification. Now, the prosecutors look at that and say, like, how do we prove he forced you into doing it, bro? Like, what's your proof? It wasn't until this footage from a hotel surveillance of Diddy beating up Cassie as she tries to run off away from a freak-off surface that the prosecutors felt like they had enough to finally arrest Diddy. Even though Diddy can be technically charged for beating up Cassie in the hotel due to statute of limitations, that particular video that was taking place post the freak off of Cassie trying to run away and Diddy beating her up and dragging her back, that particular video proves and lends help to the narrative that these freak offs weren't consensual, that Cassie was not a willing participant in sleeping with these male escorts for Diddy, that Diddy forced her into doing so and he used force when she didn't want to. So this video right here was like the smoking gun for the prosecutors, and they were ecstatic that it was finally out because they were going to use this in court. And that's what they used. This video right here is what they used to arrest Diddy, because without this video, all they got is Cassie's word versus Diddy's word on whether or not these free calls were consensual. Because in the lawsuit, Cassie also stated that initially she was with it, that initially she was the one picking out the male escorts that she wanted to be with. It wasn't until later on when she got sick and tired of doing it and Diddy kept forcing her. So this footage that's supposed to be the smoking gun for the prosecutors, apparently there's some controversy around this footage that's working in Diddy's favor.
We just broke a huge story on the website. An unbelievable story. Remember the Cassie video? This is Diddy beating Cassie in the hallway of the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles back in 2016. Everybody assumed this video was going to be a really important part of the federal case, even though he's not being charged for this. The prosecution wanted to play this video to the jury in the federal case. I do not think that's going to happen because CNN, according to the defense, altered this video before it aired it and has now destroyed the original.
Like I said, unbelievable. If true, that original copy of that video has been destroyed. I can't even get into why it would have been destroyed.
A lot of us was under the belief that the feds leaked that video to CNN because we were wondering, how did CNN get a hold of this footage? Come to find out, that's not the case. No, CNN bought the hard drive from somebody that was involved. Mind you, Diddy paid like $40,000 to $60,000 for that footage when it initially happened. So somebody still had a copy on a hard drive, on that one hard drive, and they sold it to CNN. I run a news organization. When I get footage, I usually chop it down to the congestible parts. Usually when we get footage, it's raw footage, 30 minutes long, and you got to chop it up. So that's not abnormal here. But what's severely
Fair use, family, fair use.
abnormal and really suspicious is they deleted the original copy off the hard drive. The original copy is gone. Why? What exactly was on that hard drive that they don't want us to see? Could it be that maybe the narrative that Diddy was a raging maniac going after Cassie, maybe that was out of context? Maybe Cassie was hitting him or like, we don't know. And because we don't know, we have to suspect everything. Now, outside of them deleting the original copy, it gets even stranger. According to Diddy in his defense, they didn't just edit it down and delete the original copy. No, these people took things out of order and put it in a sequence that they believe they wanted to put it out as. They didn't just cut down the video. They took things out of order. For example, they took a 2-minute part and put it at the end, then took the end and put it at the beginning. So they essentially gave us a video that essentially has no accuracy, right? No.
All right, look. Let me explain to you why this ain't gonna help Diddy in court. Understand something. Diddy not charged with nothing in that video. You know what that mean? That mean they can't bring nothing about that video up. You ain't gonna hear nothing about that video in court. All right, he not charged with that video. That video did what they needed it to do. What they needed that video to do was destroy Diddy's reputation, destroy his face, so nobody can come to his defense. This whole takedown of Diddy was very strategic. Okay, Diddy going to prison. These just smoke screens and stuff his lawyers telling him to make him think they fighting for him. But they know none of this stuff gonna help him. Yeah, they know saying Cassie a liar. Listen, for the most part, we all know she probably is. They don't care. They needed to fit what they needed to fit. They needed that tape to destroy his reputation. They needed that tape to make everybody turn their back on him and make nobody, because after that tape, nobody can publicly defend Diddy again. That tape already done all the damage they needed it to do. That's why he not charged with anything in that tape. They ain't care nothing about that tape. You can't introduce that tape into his criminal proceedings because he not charged with nothing that happened in that tape. So it ain't like he could come to court and say, look, you see, they doctored this tape up and she lied about what happened. You can't talk about nothing went on about that tape. He not charged with that. Flakko, I get how you got that conclusion. Because listen, sometimes what makes sense, not necessarily the law. Yeah, in theory, all of this will be fine and all of this will help Diddy. But in the court of law, that ain't nothing. That ain't gonna help Diddy. He not charged with nothing that happened there. You can't even bring that up. So any lies that happened in it, you gotta take that up with the dude that paid him. You gotta take that up with the civil judgment that you paid. You already paid it. You're not getting none of that money back. But that's the best shot he got as far as what's going on in the judicial, in his criminal proceedings. It can't help him. That tape being doctored up can't help Diddy in his criminal proceedings. He not charged with anything that went on in that tape. You can't even bring it up. And I know what you're thinking. It would make sense because they would know Cassie lying. They not even going to bring it up. The mission is to destroy him. Listen, that tape did what they needed it to do. They needed that tape to destroy his image. That's all. Listen, if you just finding out that that tape been doctored, the FBI been knew. I bet you they even know who done it. They even know who doctored it. Trust me. They know that tape was doctored before you seen it. If you just saying it, bro, I promise you they been knew about it. They ain't say nothing. They needed it to destroy his image so everybody would turn their back on him. Listen, what happened to Diddy? Diddy done it? Diddy done it?
Familiarity with the original, because they took things out and created a video of their own that has no representation of the original video. And then they deleted the original video, so we won't know exactly what they took out of context. Some evil things is going on here, bro.
But the bottom line for the case, as you say, is if that's true, it's going to be a huge hurdle in the prosecution getting this admitted.
It's not going to get admitted. But let's get into what happened. Now, there is a joint letter that was filed today in federal court by both the prosecution and the defense regarding evidence. Now, this portion of the letter involving the Cassie video, it was the narrative is from the defense.
Right.
So let's get into what the defense is saying.
So here's what they say about the tape. They say CNN purchased the only known copy of the hotel surveillance footage, uploaded that footage into a free editing software, altered the video, and then destroyed the original footage, even though it knew about and repeatedly reported about the federal investigation.
Okay, that is breathtaking for a couple of reasons. Number one, I mean, obviously, they paid for it and then destroyed it. But between paying for it and destroying it, according to the defense at least, it was altered. They did not air the full version. They said they sped it up, they took things out of sequence.
Right.
And that's, if true, it is shocking.
You're probably asking yourself, I mean, come on, Flakko. I mean, we've seen Diddy do it in 4K. True. Diddy probably did what he's been accused of. But here's why it's important when you want this to be admitted in the court. The original copy being deleted, being gone, makes it impossible to authenticate this video. How do they know this video is real? Where did this video come from? Right? Is this AI? If you don't have the original source, they can essentially say, bruh, this video is not a real video. We don't know where this video came from. Can they authenticate it? And usually when you can authenticate the video in court, it's not going to get admitted.
First, you
Family, they not going to introduce the tape in court. They was never going to introduce the tape in court. That's not what the tape was about. Family, the tape was to destroy his reputation, to destroy his image. It was never about charging him. It was to make all his supporters turn their back on him. You can't support him publicly after you saw that tape, if you know what's good for you. That means everybody that could help him had to turn their back on him after that tape. That tape did what they needed it to do. He wasn't charged with anything in that tape. And let me tell you why, fam. Because if you just finding out that that tape been doctored the way it been doctored, the FBI been there. I'm telling you, they even know who doctored it. That's not against the law to doctor the tape. Yeah, it would be against the law to present it as real and then try to prosecute them for it. Yeah, that would be against the law. But nobody tried to prosecute them for that tape. That tape done the major damage that they needed it to do. All his supporters turned their back on him. But he not charged with nothing in that tape. They was never going to introduce that tape in court, man.
Your law student knows this, that if there is edited video and one side or the other in court wants to have it admitted into evidence, the judge is not going to allow it in because you need to.
Look, you can't unsee that video. You can't unsee that video. I don't care how they say he doctored it. Listen, that ain't gonna do nothing for him. That ain't gonna do nothing for Diddy at all. Them doctoring this video. They not gonna bring this video to court. And if you just finding out they doctored it, bro, I'm here to let you know the feds been there. They even know who done it. They know who doctored it. They don't care. They was never charging him with nothing going on in that video. They never had no intentions of introducing that video. This not gonna help him. This a bunch of stuff his lawyer telling them they doing for him. Why they charging him all this money? A bunch of stuff that they know can't help him. He believed they fighting for him. They know they can't do nothing for him. He going to prison. He going to prison, y'all. All right, and he playing games. See, sometimes your money not really your friend. It's an illusion. And you see right now, all that money put him under illusion that he just gonna spend a bunch of money and get out. He got these big time federal attorneys that he ain't Google. Because if he Google, he'll see not one of them ever won a federal criminal trial. You're paying $10,000, $15,000 an hour to 4 or 5 different dudes who can't help you.